Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, I will be discussing Moving Pictures by Terry Pratchett, which is the 10th Discworld novel in publication order, which I have been reading them. In this one, you can probably figure out just from the title, is all about kind of Hollywood spoofs and parody, and is poking quite a lot of fun at the kind of the origins of Hollywood and the movie making business as a whole. A lot of references to like really old classic movies, just kind of talking in general, and of course having that Terry Pratchett twist. We open with this one where in a place called Holywood, there's apparently somebody required to do some chanting and like keep a fire going and to make sure that something doesn't escape. And it ends up being basically like the essence of Hollywood that escapes, and everyone starts having Hollywood dreams, and it draws people to Hollywood to start making movies, which, of course, because it's Discworld, are done using a picture box with imps trapped inside who just paint the pictures really, really fast to get it kind of going. So this one was a bit different, even for a Discworld novel, and I feel like, especially early on, there aren't that many that are in the same series. There's a lot of just different ones, and I'm not like a huge fan of the whole, Hollywood trope parody thing. It was humorous, it was well written, but it wasn't like I wasn't over the moon with this one. This definitely won't be one of my favorites, but I'm at book 10 now, so even like the less of my favorite ones are all still really well written, and I've been enjoying it, and I enjoyed this book here too as well. Even though it's not like a specific topic that overly made me laugh just from the topic itself. There were some really great scenes and just kind of plays on different Hollywood tropes, different things that are associated with movie watching. But the big thing is we got a whole lot more of cut me own throat dibbler on this one, because if anybody is set to become like the sleazy movie producer type guy and sell people on the idea, definitely cut me own throat dibbler. And so I really enjoyed getting to see more of him as well. And we follow basically a character who is trying to desperately not to be a wizard, to just be good enough to not get kicked out, but to not actually succeed, and doesn't really want to do a whole lot, and ends up being drawn to Hollywood and becoming a movie star, and kind of going through all of those different motions before they realize what's happening and that they need to stop before it's completely starts changing the world entirely. And it did have a lot of fun moments with it as well. And just like I said, a lot of the different tropes, the different movies, and people dreaming about these different movie scenes, it all coming to them. The jokes with, popcorn and as well. And we get to the point where, once again, because it's Discworld, there's still more going on, and it really is that kind of just sarcastic look about everybody wanting to be a star and not working out, and then you get like the producers like trying to take advantage of people. We do also get Gaspode, the talking wonder dog, and some other talking animals as well, which gives us some good laughs also. But a lot of fun with this one. Like I said, definitely not going to be near my top by any means, but it was still an enjoyable read, and I've enjoyed going through and reading them in publication order. So I'm starting to get really close to where it's going to be some more of the like bigger, more well-known ones, and so I'm pretty excited to continue with them. I do, of course, as I always do, want to read a few passages that just kind of made me laugh the most, or things that stuck out here. These ones are slightly longer. This was less full of like the really funny one-liners, but just had some passages. Of course, as always, these will have no context, so you don't have to worry about spoilers. It's not going to spoil anything. But let's get into these ones. Well, said Peavy uncomfortably, what you do is you take some corn and you put it in, say, a number 3 crucible with some cooking oil, you see, and then you put it on a plate or something on top of it, and when you heat it up, it goes bang. I mean, not seriously bang. And when it stopped banging, you take the plate off, and it's metamorphosed into these things. He looked at their uncomprehending faces. You can eat it, he mumbled apologetically. If you put butter and salt on it, it tastes like salty butter. They end up referring to that as banged grains too, which gets brought up quite a lot, banged grains. All right, next up, we have, and this one was really silly, but I don't know what it even was that made me laugh about this, but we have basically, I will give a slight amount of context. There's somebody who is explaining something that happened, and there's somebody else who feels the need to clarify after every word. So we have, well, sir, please, sir, I was dusting, you see. She was dusting, said Mrs. Whitlow helpfully. When Mrs. Whitlow was in the grip of acute class consciousness, she could create H's where nature never intended them to be. And then it started making a noise. It made a noise, said Mrs. Whitlow. So she come and told me, your lordship, has per my instructions. What kind of noise, Cassandra? Said the bursar, as kindly as he could. Please, sir, sort of, she screwed up her eyes. Wum, 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 plib, sir. Plib, said the bursar solemnly. Yes, sir. Plib, echoed Mrs. Whitlow. That was when it spat at me, sir, said Cassandra. Expectorated, corrected Mrs. Whitlow. And that's what we have for the second one. I don't know why, but when I was reading that passage, it just made me laugh quite a lot. And then we have the last one here, which is Gaspode, the Wonder Dog, telling a story about another dog that he was named after who was famous. So we had, and his old dog had been his only companion, and after they buried the man, he lay down on his grave and howled for a couple of weeks, growled at everybody who came near, and then died. Victor paused in the act of throwing the stick again. It's very sad, he said. He threw. Laddie tore along underneath it and disappeared into a stand of scrubby trees on the hillside. Yeah, everyone says it demonstrates a dog's innocent and undying love for his master, said Gaspode, spitting the words out as if they were ashes. You don't believe that, then? Not really. I believe any bloody dog will stay still and howl when you've just lowered the gravestone on his tail. So, we did, of course, I actually forgot to mention earlier, have Laddie, the acting dog. Of course, so lots of lassie moments there, too, and just jokes with it. The nature of dogs and so on and so forth. But like I said, this one was a pretty fun one. It's definitely not going to be on like my top list, but it was enjoyable, and most Discworld books are going to be enjoyable as well. If you are kind of like a movie buff or into like old Hollywood movies, you will probably really like that one, because that's what it's. This is what it's really focusing on, is just kind of all the kind of Hollywood cliches and jokes kind of put in with a fun satirical edge. So if you do enjoy that, I think you'll really like this one even more. And otherwise, like I said, it's well written, so it's going to be enjoyable, I feel like, to an extent, no matter what. Some of the early books were questionable, but the later books have all been pretty darn good, even if they're not my super favorites. But I have next up, which I'm hoping to read next month, is Reaper Man. So I'll be looking forward to getting back to another death book, and we'll have to see how that one goes as well. But those are my thoughts on Moving Pictures by Terry Pratchett, the 10th Discworld novel. Make sure to leave a comment. Let me know if you've read this one or what you thought of the review in general. Don't forget to give it a like if you enjoyed the video. And of course, if you'd like to see more of my content, then make sure to subscribe. Oh, and of course, check the link in the description for the Discord as well. I was just talking about how I've been remembering to do that. But anyway, you'll see some more advertisement for the Discord with the end credits.